All right, well, here's a quick video about firewood. The worst job to do here. I really hate it. And I've kind of slacked off for 2 years, so I want to refill from here all the way over to there. And it takes a while. I'm using the Harbor Freight splitter, which this thing's awesome. Because you can split on both sides, so once you get a rhythm going, it really goes fast. The only issue is the ram is not repairable, because the lines actually run up through the ram. But when they break, which this one's broken before, you can get a new one for I think $200 from Harbor Freight. They ship it right to your house. And I've actually seen these go up for sale with a broken ram for, you know, like a couple $100 or less, because people don't know what to do with them once they start leaking. So my saw is I forget exactly what it is, 460 Rancher. And I've beat the heck out of this thing. It was actually sitting for about 2 years with ethanol fuel in it, and it was running pretty bad for 5 minutes or so, or 10 minutes, and then it pepped back up. It's been a good saw. So yeah, I started about 7:30, and I get as much sawing done as I can before it gets dark, and then I put the headlamp on and get to splitting. So this is how much I did last night from there over, just one row. So I'm guessing it's gonna take at least a week and a half to finish this. Most of this wood is Madrona, I think. Let me see. Yeah, a lot of Madrona. I think I see some Doug fir in there. Whatever this is, I forget what this is. This is something else, but there's a lot of hardwood this year, which is good. Usually the Doug fir isn't the best because it doesn't have as much heat content as like oak or Madrona. Pretty lazy with the sizes of what I'm splitting, because the firebox on my fireplace is quite large. It's a Quarter Fire 7100, I think. I put it in when I moved here, and it's a giant firebox, so you can pretty much throw anything in there. I just try to keep some small pieces so there's kindling, but I mean, I have some big chunks in here, and it'll be fine. We're quite a ways from the house. It's over there. I keep the wood over here just to keep the critters away from the house. Anyway, we'll cut to the drone shots here. Yeah, this is more like it. Got stacker, splitter, we got management. Oh, he's waiting. You gotta throw one on there while he's waiting. There you go. Now stack. You want to keep him moving while you're stacking. Wrong. Whoa! Okay, what is this, like day 5? I've gotten okay progress, maybe a third of the way done. The big bottleneck is the chainsaw, because I only have about 30-45 minutes of saw time before it's too dark. And I got this headlamp. You can kind of see the outline of it here. It's okay for splitting and moving wood around, but it's just not bright enough for the sawing. So I'll show you what I got here. So I got this light. I'm about to try it out here. This is a bigger bulb, and then it actually has a big battery pack on the back. It's a pretty heavy light, but let's give this a shot here. So here's like a, try that out. Let me turn the other light on. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is way better. So I should be able to saw with this and get some more work done before I do any splitting. Because basically what's happening is I saw for a little bit and then I split it all in about 20 minutes, and then I can't do any more work. But this is pretty much like daylight out here now. Is this the brightest setting? What's the medium? A little bit dimmer. That's annoying. Oh my gosh. All right, so we'll give this a shot tonight and see how we do. Okay, well, I started sawing last night when it was dark and went for, I don't know, about an hour. And I got so much more cut with this new headlight than I've been able to do. So I think I cut from about here to here worth of wood. It's really hard to cut this because it's stacked like that. It's just like a big mess. But the upside is there's a lot less to split. So I'll get through this pile pretty quick. And that should get me way past halfway. But yeah, this light's awesome. It's really, really heavy and bulky, and it's uncomfortable. Like, this just presses against your forehead, but it could have thumbtacks in it for all I care. I mean, it's such a huge help. The other light was really more for hiking, not for working. Charlie. Give me that pear. Give me that pear. Come here. Give me that pear. I wonder where all the pears went. A bad dog right there. I suspected as much. This tree was full of pears. Now it's like almost gone. Save that one. Give that pear back, dog. Well, unfortunately, I only have tonight and tomorrow night before the rains come, and it looks like it's gonna be raining quite a bit over the next week or so. So I was hoping to have all this done, but it is what it is. I'll just have to get as much done as I can the next 2 nights. I probably have maybe 1.75 years worth of wood, maybe more. This is a harder wood, so this might burn slower, hopefully. I think I did make a little bit of a mistake when I was unloading this stuff, and this is partly because I've never really dealt with smaller wood like this. I'm usually doing bigger rounds, but I kind of just pitched it out of the trailer, and it's really time consuming to saw it like this because it's just all over the place. And it really would be nice if it was all kind of lined up like this, because then I could just run the saw straight down. And maybe I'll show you in a sec here, but when you get over to like over here, it just takes a long time to cut all this stuff. Even though the saw goes right through it, you have to do one at a time, and then you're tripping all over it and you're stumbling around. to guess it takes about twice as long to cut it that way versus having it all lined up. Well worth the time to take the time to unload it properly. So I've learned that lesson. Also, you saw, I mean, I was like tripping over this already in the first couple seconds, because there's just, with this long grass, there's just not a good foothold anywhere. So anyway, I think that's, hopefully I made that point. That's the way to do it right there. Anyway, I've already been out here for about 10 minutes and it's getting too dark to film. I think tonight though, I'm gonna start with this mess over here. It's actually more light on my camera than on what I can see. But I don't want this here because I need to keep this road clear. And I have actually some pretty big rounds in here. So let's get all this done. I bet you that'll cover, maybe I'll start stacking on that side. That'll cover a lot. All right, been about an hour and a half. I got all this stuff out. This was all like the big Madrona rounds. And fortunately, there was really nothing that was rotten in all of this. It's been sitting for about 2 or 3 years. Really hard to film out here with, oh, did I miss stuff? But yeah, that was all that stuff that was over here made this big pile. So it's about 9:30 right now, perfect time to start stacking. And I'll get to that and then we'll do a drone update in the morning. Off to a late start tonight, just started, but this is the last night I can work. It's gonna rain in 2 days. I gotta leave tomorrow for a fishing trip. So I would really like to get this little pile done. I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I'm gonna just plug away at this as fast as I can, and we'll see what happens here. There's not a whole lot left to do. I mean, it'd be just nice to have this pile out of here. It's been sitting for years. I don't want it to, start rotting or whatever. I got it all cut. Took a little bit of effort. A lot of logs that were kind of sinking into the ground were really hard to get out. But and then there's this left over. This is an old burn pile actually. You can see these are all rotten. Each one of those weighs about half of a pound. So I'll just leave those to rot. No real drama. It's really hazardous working here. It's really bumpy. But it's what, 9:15, so it took an hour and a half. So I'll see how much I can get stacked and splitted before I get too tired. Well, I was up to 11 last night, but got it all done. There were actually quite a lot of logs underneath, like in the dirt, were hard to get out, and that's just that old burn pile. Didn't quite fill it up. There's a little bit left, but that's fine. And I'm gonna start burning from this side anyways this year. This tarp is 12 by 30 feet and it's 12 mils thick. I bought it 2 years ago for like 65 bucks and it's holding up really well. Much cheaper than building something over it. So before I go, I think I'm gonna quickly just kind of sum up with the gear here. Log splitter worked perfect as always. It sits year round with ethanol fuel in there, and it never has a problem starting on like the first or the second pull. I really like this log splitter. Of course, the biggest problem with it, but also the best part of it, if you want one, is you can't, like I said before, you can't repair the cylinder, but you can find them for like $100 on Craigslist. People sell them when they're broken, and you just call up Harbor Freight and they'll ship one to your door for, I think I spent like $200, $250 when I had to repair it. So you could have a really good splitter for cheap. Chainsaw held up well after it worked through the old gas in it. I am noticing it's kind of low on power, and it is kind of starting without choke, so I'm guessing the air filter's plugged and it might need a new spark plug. Now for gloves, this is like from Costco. It's like $30 for a 3-pack, and these are actually pretty good. They don't have a seam right here, which like on this finger, which always rips like 20 minutes into doing something hard, and it held up pretty good. But last night it blew out right there. I always figure like a job this big, I'm gonna go through at least 1 or 2 pairs of gloves. So this one lasted the entire time. Pretty happy with it, and it was only $10. And for the boots, I always have a problem with boots. I'm not sure, I guess maybe because I buy cheap ones, but these are Brunts and they actually lasted really well. Full disclosure, like a year or two ago, someone from Brunt reached out to me, and I think they saw one of my older videos and they're like, look, can we send you a pair of boots? no strings attached. So these are waterproof, and they have a comp toe. I've used them for a long time, and they're holding up really well. I gotta be honest. But you know, none of this is falling apart. I remember the first year I did Firewood out here, maybe it was the second year, I bought a brand new pair of Timberland boots, but they were off, like, the really cheap ones off Amazon. And I'm not even joking, like 4 hours in, the entire toe started splitting apart on those things. Only other thing to mention is the terrain is getting really rough out here. You got piles of bark and wood and all that, and then there's just, well, the soil is like 90% clay and about 10% gophers. And there's just bumps and ridges everywhere. Especially over here, it was really hazardous. It was really dumb. I should have been wearing chaps when I was chainsawing. I'm really good about keeping the blade, you know, from, if I cut through, it's not gonna run right into my leg, but it's just hazardous walking out here. So maybe I'll get chaps next time. And then I think what I'm gonna do is, once the ground softens up, I'm gonna take the Caterpillar out here and kind of just scrape all this off. Maybe I'll scrape it that way into the bushes and just kind of start with a clean slate here. All right, well, that's gonna be it for this video. Not a very good one. I apologize. It's kind of hard to shoot at night. I probably shouldn't even release this video. Maybe I'll just make it unlisted. But anyway, I'm done with the Firewood. That's really all that matters. So I'll be back next week with more excavator stuff. If you're still watching at this point, thanks, and I'll be back.